red lights, and it's going to be lights out and away we go. After second, a good start compared to non-stop. Non-stop dropping positions. J-Swell in P2 right now. Side-by-side action going between them. So far, 2 wide going through. Both McLarens almost touching. Oh, one of the McLarens is actually spun. It's going to be Duck Puncher and Ski colliding with each other. Duck Puncher and Ski colliding. Ski all the way down the back of the grid, but Duck Puncher in P9. And it's just going to be Jerobot and Chevy Wolves battling it out right now, but Chevy Wolves trying to get past Jerobot and leaves the door open for Combat Ollie to get through onto the right-hand side. He gets through, so it's an Alpine 4-5, followed by Afterset Non-Stop now in P2, J-Swell P3, and looks like Duck Puncher is trying to battle out with Josh Styles right here, but he's not going to be able to get the move done, but War Machine now battling Chevy Wolves in P6 and 7, going side by side before the... Oh! Chevy Wolves cuts off the War Machine and now he's falling off from the grid. The face of the earth he goes. Down to P13. Back to you now.
That was perfect. All good, no gaps forming just yet. Arthur getting about a 0.7 of a second in front of Non-Stop, who has gained multiple positions at the start of this race. Keeping all those cars on the track. Not much going on towards the back. A couple of ghosted cars. Boom Boom Bill seems to not be in his car at the moment. Shining Storm at the back. After the first lap, we have Arthur in first still. Non-Stop in second. Mr. J Swell in third. Jairbot and Combo Ollie making 4th and 5th in the Alpines. In the 6th is Chevy Wolves, Piastri in 7th. Duck Puncher in 8th. Felsi in 9th. Josh Stiles in 10th. Felsi going up to 8th. A mid-pack battle going on right now.
He just gained 2 positions in the main straight. Josh Styles had a bit of a moment which led Duck Punch to try and get through, and then Felsi with a slipstream just gets past both of them before the corner. And War Machine's DNF'd it! War Machine has DNF'd it!
Felty Rabbit is off the track. Virtual safety car has been deployed. War is out of this race. Damage on the side of Felty Rabbit as they're both off the track. All cars must keep their delta the same throughout this virtual safety car as we get War off the track. Boom 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 Bill still seems to be not in his car, but Ski with the first penalties of this race.
Send Boom Boom Bill a fucking invite. I know, I've got him on Xbox. No. Ski with the 10-second penalty. What was the... Boom Boom having issues?
Boom is still having issues? Yes,
okay.
That is fine.
You must have given him the internet issues. First you did, now he's got it. Bloody
I
hell.
believe it. That might be it. Might just be the game as well.
It's like the new Chinese virus. Sorry. Too soon? Too soon?
Virtual safety car out on the screen. We have no idea when the virtual safety car will end.
Second time penalty. Severe collision with Felsi. Duck Puncher has got a 10-second. So, that is not looking good so far. Any damage on Duck Puncher's car? Anything
Not
on your
by the look of it. Currently trying to get the remote control up on my screen because of the internet issue.
Chevy was with a drive-through penalty. Speeding under the VSC. So we've got 2 drivers, or 1 driver that's got a 10-second penalty. Followed by a drive-through penalty for Chevy Wolves for speeding at the end of the virtual safety car. Ski goes into the pits to serve his penalty, his 10-second penalty. Switches out the tyres for the set of hards. This is a
very interesting top first 3 laps. War out of this race at the moment. Ski hitting the pits for the first time might have damage. Currently 40 seconds behind the rest of the pack as the VSC ends and we get back into racing. Arthur set back on the top with Non-Stop hot on his tail. Losing time now outside of DRS range. Arthur taking that start very nicely as I believe Non-Stop was outside of DRS range when he hit the sensor. We'll find out in a second. As that wing does not open, he will be fine. Oh, it is open. That wing does open. He's still in DRS range. He will grab Duck Puncher grabbing the fastest lap with a 1:27.4 at the moment.
Yeah, Jerobot and J-Swell also battling for position right now. Jerobot losing the DRS from Non-Stop just beforehand. So this is going to leave Jay with an opportunity to try and take over Jerobot's position for P3. It looking pretty close between 3rd, 4th and 5th, under a 10th at one point.
As Felsy's trying to get on the back of Duck Puncher down in 9th. Duck Puncher takes it as Felsy and the 2 Mercedes go at it. A little slide out by Duck Puncher on the way out, leaving Felsy that gap to get in front. And now takes his position there in between the 2 Mercedes drivers. Back up the front, there's a gap being shortened between Combo Ollie and Mr. J Swell, who's also catching up to Jairbot in 3rd place. The Ferrari and the Alpine fighting relentlessly up the front here. Arthur getting his 3-second warning for colouring outside the lines. First one of the preseason. Down in 1st, currently bringing his true position down to 6th place. Arthur's going to have to fight to keep that car on the track for the rest of this race if he has a chance at getting a podium before the season starts.
Yeah, and Chevy Wolves isn't going in for his drive-through right now. He's staying out, so he needs to go in.
Within
otherwise
3
he's going to
laps.
be disqualified for the race. But this is looking pretty spicy. Non-stop losing the DRS. 1.3 second between himself and Arthur's set. So Arthur now getting a bit of a gap between himself and some breathing space. Which then means that J12, if he's lucky enough, is able to catch up to Non-stop if he can. As we've got a battle for the back of Combo Ollie, Jerobot, and also Chevy Wolves losing some time, just a bit.
Combo Ollie, starting this race in 8th, has gained 3 positions due to other drivers' errors. He will be trying to make sure that the TPs of this season see his work and allow him a position.
Duck Punch had a moment. Duck Punch has had a moment. Sorry to interrupt you, mate. Duck Punch has also had another moment, and he's got a 13-second penalty altogether. Got a 3-second penalty for model warning, so Duck Puncher not looking too good tonight for the preseason. Not looking too good, but he will be trying his best to keep it ahead. But
Duck Puncher, who qualified 5th for this session, now down into 11th place as Faded Menace, a new driver for tonight, hits his first 3-second penalty for track limits.
As Chevy Wolves now goes into the pit to serve his drive-through, so he'll be going down the back of the grid. Potentially second last, I do believe, if that is correct.
What was that one, sorry?
No, I was just saying Chevy 70's drive-through is going to be like second last or something.
Chevy Wolves coming out of the pits now. Will he be in front or behind of Ski as we come into this? As PMP Astri gets his 3-second penalty for not being able to keep the car on the track. Chevy Wolves coming out in 14th place just behind Boom Boom Bill as he overtakes back in front. Boom Boom Bill letting him through. Still not in the car, I believe. That's a ghosted car. Chevy Wolves now 10 seconds behind the rest of the pack.
Yep. Good battle between Piastri and Josh Styles over here. Piastri making an audacious move, which ended up paying off, but he's struggling with control of the car by the looks of it. He's losing the rear end a lot as Josh Styles and Piastri go side by side, and they've had contact. And that's going to leave Faded Menace to get both positions away from both the Mercedes as well as the Red Bull. Moves himself up into P7.
Faded Menace, yes, with a 3-second penalty, started 13th in this battle. Now up into 7th place ahead of PMR Piastri and Josh Styles and Mercedes. That Ferrari looks like it's on fire today. Any predictions for the rest of the race?
I reckon Arthur Set is going to win this by a landslide. I'm going to prove all the haters wrong. No, but looking at this, I reckon, as you said before, top 3 will definitely stay the same. Combo Ollie struggling to catch up. He is on those mediums, lap 7, so those mediums will start to die off. As I have a look at the tyre situation, so Piastri on 6 lap old hards, followed by Duck Puncher on 6 lap old hards as well. So they'll be starting to catch up, and Arthur Set through to Bat Feltzy from P1 to P6 is going to be on those slidey mediums right now. So hards are definitely a good call at this point, but whether or not they fall apart is another question.
Turns out that my leaderboard is working now. So I've got that back up on the screen for all you people at home watching on your phone, PC, tablets or TVs. The new leaderboard is now working and is on the screen. As you can see, the intervals, the tyres, fastest laps and the out drivers for this session. Right now watching Combo Ollie in the Alpine with Jairbot just behind. Combo Ollie starting this race in 8th, now in 4th, trying to show his real talent as we see the Non-Stop and Jairbot fighting down the main straight. Non-Stop on the inside line, Jairbot going to have to tuck in on the backside. Both of them trying to gain a position to fight for first place at the moment. Mr. J Swole, if I get this on. Non-Stop and Mr. J Swole right now fighting for second place. Both of them on very, very tight laps. The interval less than a third of a second. Mr. J Swole with a faster lap time during this session. Will he be able to get in front of Non-Stop by the end of this lap to make his way forward to fight for the lead of Arthur Set?
Well, at this current stage, and the amount of times that they're battling, they need to be working with each other at this stage. The battling isn't really exactly helping try and catch up because the time between Arthur Set and Non-Stop is just gradually increasing, not decreasing. So I think there needs to be some sort of tactical work in order to catch up. I mean, he does have that 3 second, but it's only lap 8, but yeah, I reckon they're just going to try and work with each other and try and catch up, and they might have a chance to try and take P1 or P2. But at this stage, P2, P3 is looking like their true positions at this stage.
A battle is brewing down with PMR Piastri and Josh Stiles as PMR Piastri gets in front of Josh Stiles but Josh Stiles cuts down on the inside of turn 1. Will he gain that position back? He will. The switchback works. Almost a tiny bit of contact between JMR and Josh. But Josh getting out in front. No major damage by the look of that, with Duck Puncher right on their tail as Duck tries to go on the inside. Decides to cut back in on the back here.
Yep. Well, how long do you reckon those mediums can actually last for? Like, realistically, before they start flipping, as Josh Stiles has a bit of a moment going very, very deep into the corner and very, very wide. How long can they last for? Until they lose their grip? Is it like lap 8, lap 9, maybe lap 10 or something?
The mediums, anywhere from lap 9 to lap 15, they are the center point tires, depending on how well you look after them.
Yeah.
Duck Puncher right now still got green on those tires, keeping them just under 100 degrees all the way around. You see this three-way battle on the bottom of your screen here, as we are currently watching PMR Piastri, Josh Stiles on his front and Duck Puncher on his back. A second between the three of the cars.
Yeah, Duck Puncher's just having a moment. Or collision between him and Piastri, but
Duck Puncher getting very aggressive right now as he tries to get in. DRS for both Piastri and Duck. Duck takes the inside line. Will come around in front, putting him into 7th place. Felsi.
Yep.
Oh, sorry. Duck Puncher and Josh Stiles is now his next target. Still fighting their way forward in the pack. As we go back towards the two Alpines of Ollie.
Oh! Felty and Shine Swarm, did you see that?
I did not. Who is down at the back there? Felsi.
Felty went wide on the track, right hand side, lost the rear, and then the rears just decided, I'm gonna turn left. Good luck everyone else, and then collected Shining Swarm, whoever that car was, and just almost completely annihilated both of them at the same time. Shining
Swarm currently in 11th, does not seem to have any damage that I can see. Right, front wing damage, front left wing damage. You can see that little bit of the front wing taken off. Felty Rabbit also caught in that collision, does not seem to have any damage, but we'll find out afterwards. Faded Menace with his tires currently overheating coming through those tracks, but another accident I missed on cam. but that is all good. The gap in the field starting to open up. Fights between Mr. J Swole and Nonstop still going ahead. The two Alpines of Combo Ollie and Jebot, tail on tail, trying to work their way back up into the top three. Just behind them is Felsi in the Mercedes. Josh Styles, Duck Puncher, and Piastri making up 7, 8, and 9, currently fighting their way through the pack. PMR Piastri just behind. Faded Menace, Chevy Wolves, and Rabbit at the back, as we have Shining Swarm coming into the pits.
Yeah, he'll be replacing that front wing damage. No way you can be driving with a front wing damage like that on Qatar. It's going to be near to impossible.
We come back out. Arthur now with a 3-second gap, bringing his true position back into first place. If he can hold 3 seconds ahead of Mr. J Swole and Nonstop, who are fighting very viciously to try and catch up, will be a very interesting win for Arthur if Mr. J Swole and Nonstop don't work together to catch for the 3 podium seats tonight.
Well, it'll be looking good for the TPs. I mean, Arthur Set coming into this race very strong after how much of a break? Like a month and a bit or so?
Yep.
So, coming into this, Arthur Set has got a good mentality for this. He wants to impress the TPs and saying that he is rightfully wanting a championship win if he continues up like this. And so far, Nonstop and J-Swell just slowly working with each other. J-Swell a bit slow through the middle sector, well, going into the corners, as I can see, but they are still trying to catch up to Arthur Set, as Arthur is essentially in the view of J-Swell, just making the right-hand corner right now in Sector 2. And Fader Menace in the pits now. He's on the hards. So, interesting call.
As we head towards the halfway mark right now, we currently have in first Arthur Set, who's holding on to a 3-second penalty as we go through, with a warning up his sleeve. Mr. J Swole and Nonstop in second and third, currently battling it out for second place. In fourth and fifth, Jebot and Combo Ollie. Fifth and sixth, the two Mercedes of Felsi and Josh Styles. Eighth and ninth, Duck Puncher and Piastri, with Chevy Wolves in 10th, not far behind. Felty Rabbit, Faded Menace, Shining Swarm, Boom Boom Bill, and Ski make up the final 5. And War, who had terminal damage, is out of this race and will not be continuing.
Well, Jebot and also, I do believe, Nonstop just coming out the pits now, both boxing for a set of hards, as well as Chevy Wolves in P10 now, boxing for a set of hards. So they've got an undercut movement compared to the lads from P7 all the way up to P1. So tactical moves from Nonstop and also Jerobot to try and see if they can get ahead of J-Swole as well as Arthur Set going into the first pit stop.
Now, don't mind the pit lane timer is glitched out for Mr. Chevy Wolves here. It will be fixed by the time the next race has begun. But I just wanted to show you guys the new graphics on the screens right now. As we come back, Arthur still in first place, getting a decent gap, 3.3 seconds ahead now. Combo Ollie taking third place because of the pit stop of Nonstop.
That goes into the pits right now. Same with
J-Swell coming into the pits right now. Coming on, pit lane timer on the screen. Arthur Set and Mr. J-Swell coming in for their halfway pit of the session. 2.2 seconds for both cars as they come out of the pit lane. We come back to the current race leader, who is Duck Puncher, who has not made a finish yet. Front and rear tires on both sides of Duck, 22 and 20%. He's holding onto those tires very well on those hard tires. I believe he'll be doing a reverse strategy and going from hards to either mediums or softs towards the end of this race. But 14 laps currently on the tyres for Duck Puncher, and PMR Piastri currently in first and second.
The undercut with non-stop did not work. He's still behind J-Swell. So J-Swell actually performing the pit lane in terms of going into the pits for the new tyres to perfection. The undercut did not work. Arthur Set now 2.6 seconds ahead of J-Swell instead of the 3.1 it was beforehand. So the time has gradually gone down, but non-stop is still behind essentially P3 at this stage. Well, it's essentially P2 at this stage. So, yes. Shine Swarm get a 3-sec penalty. He's in P12. So, when do you reckon the hard runners are going to pit?
Anywhere
They're on
between
14
lap 18 or lap now, anywhere between lap 16 to 22 will be the pits. Non-stop currently getting the fastest lap with a 125.6, just sitting behind on those hard tyres behind Arthur. Gets back in front of Mr. J Swole for the first time in this session.
Yep, so now he'd be looking to hunt down Arthur Set right now. 2.9 seconds, so the time isn't exactly going down. Just increased just a little bit, but got to right with a 3-second penalty down into P14.
Where Arthur Set currently sitting in traffic will have DRS if he gives in, and will gain more speed away from the two drivers fighting for podiums right now. PMR Piastri and Duck Puncher currently sitting in front of Arthur. Will he get DRS? I believe he will. Will it be a changer? Yes, it will. As Arthur hits a purple sector 2, half a second quicker than Non-Stop's lap earlier.
The slipstream is going to be healthy. Arthur Set dramatically with 3.3 seconds it was beforehand. Now he's got the DRS off from Piastri, and Piastri obviously sitting in P2, not his provisional position obviously, but Arthur Set just goes by like bread and butter. Bread and butter, just flies on through, flows it through, but Piastri does not have any sort of defense from that whatsoever.
And it's not Piastri's fight to be making at the moment, and if he was to have fought that, it would be a detriment to his race and the provisional leaders, who are Arthur, J Swole and Non-Stop. PMR Piastri still is yet to pit. He is on old hard tyres, and if he was to fight Arthur Set just then, it would have been a detriment to both their races, and it could have ended extremely badly.
Yep, well, obviously the gap now is roughly currently, I would say, 3.1 seconds between Arthur Set and J Swole. So, if J Swole can catch up to Piastri, he could get the DRS, but I don't see that happening on this lap because Piastri might go into the pits and box for a set of mediums, depending. But where would that put them, Duck Punch and Piastri? What, P9?
You roughly lose about 23 seconds at Qatar. We will find out sooner or later. As Mr. Arthur Set hitting a 125.2 to get the fastest lap of this session.
Just getting past J Swole with ease.
Non-Swab and J Swole making another swap. J Swole back into 5th place, just behind Non-Stop. The current leader of this race, Arthur Set, getting a second on PMR Piastri and 3 seconds. 3 seconds on PMR Piastri, who is currently just in front of Non-Stop and Mr. J Swole, who will be fighting to get in front as quick as possible. Contact on the back by Mr. J Swole as they're going round turn 4. Will he let them go? Mr. Non-Stop getting in front, but the Ferrari's still behind, losing time every corner and every lap as they sit behind traffic. Arthur Set now 4 seconds ahead
He's
of
not-
Non-Stop
he's
and is
fast.
on the back of Arthur Set. He's on the inside, taking the inside line, almost forced off the track by Duck Puncher, but he decides to come back. It is easier not to. PMR Piastri with a 3-second penalty, bringing his penalties up to 9 seconds for his 9th warning of the race. Duck Puncher currently on a 3-second, and Arthur currently on a 3-second penalty. Non-Stop and J Swole have not yet got any penalties for this race, and will do anything to try and catch up. We're watching Arthur Set go on the inside of Duck Puncher right now on those new hards as he comes round. The gap to the leader now, Non-Stop 3.5 seconds behind, and Mr. J Swole 4.5 seconds behind, as he struggled to get past PMR Pastry, who is now in the pits with a quick 2-second timer. We'll get the standardized time. It's about 24 to 25 seconds in the pit lane.
Well, will Chevy Wolf be able to get past him,
As he
or
comes
is
through.
Piastri going to stay ahead?
Piastri coming out of the pits now. 26-second timer on the pit lane. That is how much they lose. PMR Piastri back down into 9th place. Close one for Chevy Wolves, who was fighting. PMR Piastri putting himself on mediums for the rest of this race.
Yep.
Back to Arthur Set, who's back in 1st place. Currently behind Boom Boom Bill, who is not still in this race. Ghosted as the moment. We'll have to figure that one out. 14 drivers left. Duck Puncher still up in 2nd place, yet to pit for his medium tyres. Non-Stop sitting in 3rd with Mr. J Swole on his back.
Well, Duck Puncher will have to be going in this lap, surely. He's done 17 laps on the hards, and he's going into the pits. Hopefully he doesn't get a speed in the pit lane. No, he doesn't. He does that with... So now Arthur Set, Non-Stop, and J Swole. 3.6 seconds.
As Mr. J Swole comes back on the front line of Non-Stop coming down the straight. That wing wide open, giving him that 15 k's of extra speed just to get in front around the inside of Non-Stop. A very fair fight that's been happening all race. Now the next step is to find Arthur.
Yeah, close the gap between Arthur Set and between Swolf. I thought that was Arthur getting another penalty.
Come down to the back of the grid where we have the kit car of Felty Rabbit, Skier in the Williams, and Shining Swarm in the Aston Martin as they fight to get up back into the points of, well, not into the points, pre-season race, to fight to show off their pace and skills throughout this race, as Shining Swarm holds that inside line, does not allow the Williams of Ski to get around the inside. And
Well,
the kit
good
car,
little
Felty
battle
Rabbit
going
holding
on.
at the back.
Good little battle going on here. Felty, Bat Felcy, and also Jerabot going at it right now. 4P4. Definitely a bit of a close battle going on here for P4 for the race, as Jerabot just easing up behind him right now. Both Alpines are still with each other. They're working well together. I don't know if they're in the same call, but they're working well with each other, as J Swole says the fastest lap in
Well,
P2.
with a 125.16 benchmark lap times as we hit the final 10 laps of this race.
But Felcy go at it. Duck Punch, he gets a 3-second time penalty. Ollie just stays behind. He couldn't get close enough behind the back of Felcy there, but Felcy looking real racy for P5, battling it out with the Alpine. Sorry, I'm just looking at this battle over here. Oof. Getting real close.
Which battle?
The Felcy Jerabot battle.
Ah, yeah, I'm watching.
Felcy definitely more racy. He's the 1 lap younger tyres compared
Combo
to only
Ollie.
get a 3-second. Oof, not good. Not good, my friend. Not good.
Brings his penalties to 3. That's his 3rd warning. Josh Styles at the 7 here with 2. Shining Swarm with a 12-second penalty at the moment. Ski with 9. Felty with 6. Faded with 3. Duck with 6. Piastri with 9. 9 laps to go. Combo with 3, and Arthur Set at the front, currently leading by over 3 seconds on Mr. J Swole, who's gaining every single lap.
Ooh,
To try and
side-by-side action
catch
between
up.
non-stop and... Ooh! Non-stop just gives them enough room, almost forces them off the track. I'll have a look. I want to have a look at something. How many warnings does both Non-stop and J-Swell have?
Non-Swap and
So-
J-Swell have got 1 warning each. Neither of them set
Yep.
for a penalty as of yet. They are both fighting tooth and nail to get back in front. As
Yep,
we
okay.
watch this battle from the top camera of Mr. J Swole.
Yeah, and Arthur Set has not gotten any warnings after that 3 penalty, so he's looking pretty good as he's extended the gap by nearly a second at this point. Now he's at the 4-second mark, Arthur Set. Arthur Set is flying through Qatar at this point.
Mr. J Swole is back on the tail end of Non-Stop. This fight being a detriment to their race as they're losing time to Arthur Set with that open air. As Mr. J Swole goes for the outside, puts his wheels right next to the rear of Non-Stop. We'll try and keep this car on the track. We'll get DRS coming down the main straight. We'll go side by side as we come down. Gets back in front, tucks in just before the braking zone. And it is now on for Arthur. Both drivers still trying to fight each other for second and third when they should be fighting Arthur for first.
I'm looking at this. If I'm looking at this correctly, I think J-Swell is a lot quicker than Non-Stop at this stage. Because, oh, hang on, Combaoli's just had a moment. Oh no, it was just Felty and Combaoli going at it. Sorry, my bad. I thought Comba
So we
had a
come
moment.
down to Chevy Wolves and PMR Piastri. Chevy Wolves with the DRS open will take the outside line. PMR Piastri getting in behind of Chevy Wolves as he takes 8th place. Mr. J Swole, currently on a faster lap than Arthur Set, will gain time on him eventually.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying before. It looks like J-Swell is a lot quicker than Non-Stop. He's got more confidence in that Ferrari than Non-Stop does in the Red Bull. So, at this stage, J-Swell could catch up if he plays this correctly, but so far, Mr. Non-Stop is not making it an easy job for the both of them, so...
As we can see on the screen right now, the last laps of the top 3, both Non-Stop and Mr. J Swole in the high 126s. Arthur Set setting benchmark laps of 125s, hasn't hit a 126 in a while. As Mr. J Swole hits a faster lap, 125.5, still he was half a second quicker than Arthur on this lap. Josh Styles get a 3-second penalty for that one, as Non-Stop gets back in front. Miss Arthur Set is holding his line well out the front as we come through with 6 laps remaining on this thing. Still, both Non-Stop and J-Swell getting a warning for this. If they do gain a Non-Stop with a 3-second penalty coming through the 4th corner of this track. He doesn't get his car on the track. Now with a 3-second penalty, Mr. J Swole, his true race position in 2nd, will not have to fight him for much longer, but I do not believe Non-Stop will let him pass at any point during this race. Non-Stop currently his fastest lap with a 125.4. Non-Stop with a Mr. J Swole with a 125.6, and Arthur Set with a 122. Their last laps, all in decent clarification, they are all fighting to get ahead and destroy this gap. Jebot currently sitting at the back here, 126.1, is not up with the leaders, but is trying to find his way back towards the front. 12 seconds between the top 3 and the rest of the pack. Another gap between Combo Ollie and Josh Styles of 10 seconds, and Piastri behind him in 7th. Josh Styles running his own race down here in 7th place. Then in 9th and 10th, we have the 2 McLarens of Wolves and Duck, who are currently fighting PMR Piastri for the position. New hards and new mediums for the drivers as they come through. The 2 McLarens looking to make a fighting chance back up into the top 8. Behind them, Faded Menace in the Ferrari and Felty in the kit car. Ski sitting in 13th, just behind Felty in the Williams, and Shining Swarm sitting in 14th. Boom Boom still not in this race, sorry, as his internet has come out. Yep.
Am I back at school now,
We're back
Jake?
at school.
26 years old this year, and I'm back at school. Damn. I didn't
Yes,
realise
sir,
we
we're
went
back at
in
school.
time. Well, as you were saying beforehand, Mr. Nonstop is definitely not letting J Swell through without a... Because they had a bit of a good little battle going through first sector, second sector, trying to get a switch back between himself and Nonstop, and it's just looking real spicy. Then they know that they can't catch up to Arthur Set, so now they're just having their own little battle over here.
As we hit the 5 lap to go mark, and
Yep.
it looks like we have our... Oh, Mr. J Swole taking the outside line, Non-Stop getting back in front. This is just going to be back and forth by both of them until the end of this race. Mr. J Swole needs to get a gap on Non-Stop if he wants to keep this lead. He does need to keep himself within 3 seconds of of Non-Stop to get back in front. The
Alpine, Alpine in the Mercedes almost just took out the second. Alpine almost took out the first one, almost took out the second, having a bit of a rear end. Sorry to interrupt you there. Would have been...
That's fine.
That would have been some very sad times right there for both Alpine. Mercedes ended up taking both of them out as they're battling for P4.
As we get onto an onboard between Felsi, Jebot and Combo Ollie fighting down here 4th, 5th and 6th to make it into the top 5. I will get there. Times and intervals on the screen. We're on board with Felsi in the car of the Mercedes. The Alpines on both sides of him boxing him in. The intervals now 0.8 of a second between the 3 cars. All Combo Ollie at the front there with a faster lap than Jebot and Felsi, but a fight nonetheless. Jebot has a lot more battery to work with than Ollie, but as we come down towards the straight, Felsi and Jebot will have DRS on Combo Ollie, and it is a fight down the main straight right now as those 2 wings open straight up and that extra speed comes through down the line. Felsi taking the inside line, gaining a position, and Jebot staying behind his teammate in the Alpine. All within 0.4 of a second each other now, coming through the second corner. No times on those ones. Non-Stop getting very close back in front as I look past on the outside. Getting that lap back. Mr. J Swole giving that position back and tucking in behind. But as we go back towards...
Oh, he's done a switchback. Sorry. He's done a switchback. He's now ahead of Non-Stop right now.
As we come through the second sector.
There's a nice little battle going on here, bro.
Multiple
Nice
battles
little
back
battle.
and front. As we come down to the 2 McLarens who are fighting for 9th, 8th and 7th with PMR Piastri, who is on a lot of penalties right now.
Arthur Set getting the 3-second penalty.
Arthur Set in first, getting his second 3-second penalty of the race, meaning that Jay Swole, who is only 6.3 seconds behind, is only 0.3 seconds from the lead at the moment, will be trying to keep this position alive. Jay Swole and Non-Stop need to work together if they want to get first in this race tonight, as Mr. J Swole is fighting the ghosted car of a Boom Boom Bill, the Triple B, who is not on here. Still gaining time away from Mr. J Swole, half a second more than it was last lap.
This is looking big. This could be big for J Swole. 0.8 of a second so far. But if Arthur Set makes one minute mistake, and I do mean minute, he could potentially lose P1 as well as P2 if Non-Stop and J Swole both get under the 5-second mark. Well, obviously Non-Stop, will probably be P3 still because he's got that 3-second penalty, but J Swole will definitely be P1 if he manages to catch up.
Yes, and now with a 6.8 second, he's gaining time throughout the corners, and Arthur maybe a little bit quicker on the straights by the look of it. As he comes down, he's trying to get DRS off Boom Boom Bill, who is currently ghosted. 2 laps to go, guys. Arthur Set getting in front of the ghosted car at the front here. As we come in, all tyres are getting destroyed right now towards the last second. 6.8 seconds between Arthur and Jay Swoll. Technically only 0.9 of a second between first and second at the moment. As Shining Swarm gets another penalty down in 14th. 18 seconds on right now. Non-stop tyres looking like they're destroying themselves according to the data sheets right now. As he is sitting currently behind Mr. J Swoll. A little bit of a lock-up there coming into the second sector of this track. And a gap forming between the Ferrari and the Red Bull.
Yep, exactly right. J Swoll putting the pedal to the metal right now, deploying as much of the battery as he can to try and get non-stop out of the DRS. It's 0.8 of a second right now. Non-stop also trying to deploy as much battery as he can, but the gap is still getting bigger slightly. As we got J Swoll now 6.5 seconds away from Arthur Set. It was nearly a second off from his penalty, obviously with the 6 seconds, so it was 7 seconds before. Now 6.5. He's got one more lap to do, 0.5, to get P1. You reckon he can do it, Broke?
I believe there's one lap left. The only way Arthur does not win this is if he spins or loses traction through a corner. He does have 6 seconds worth of penalties, which he has not served. So he only has to keep half a second. He only has to keep 6 seconds ahead of Mr. J Swoll and Nonstop, who are going to be battling for the rest of this race. We come through. Arthur is sitting with the ghosted car of Boom Boom Bill as Mr. J Swoll gets his 3-second penalty, which means Nonstop and Mr. J Swoll are both on 3 seconds. They will be fighting right now for the rest of this race. Mr. J Swoll now technically 9 seconds ahead. Sorry, 10 seconds ahead of Mr. J Swoll. The fight for second and third is now on. Both cars on penalties and will be fighting for the rest of this lap. Miss Arthur Set, as we come into Sector 3, will use all of his DRS. He started first, and he's going to be finishing first. He may have coloured outside the lines a couple times, but he did keep his position at the start as Mr. Arthur Set comes down into the final straight, flings that car side by side as the checkered flag goes through. Ski at the back, taking that flag. Mr. J Swoll taking second place in this race, Non-Stop just behind in third. As we head to Jebba, Felsi and Ollie, who are all currently fighting for 4th, 5th and 6th, coming down the main straight. The Alpine taking 4th place, Felsi in 5th, Ollie in 6th. Josh Stiles has been running this race majoritively on his own for the time being. Coming around the final corner now, a little bit of lag on my end, but we will see him in 7th. Duck Puncher and Chevy Wolves in the 2 McLarens just behind. PMR Piastri coming over the line in that Red Bull in 10th. Faded Menace coming over the line, coming through the final corner right now, just behind the ghosted car, I believe, of Boom Boom Bill as he finishes his race. Felty taking another 3-second penalty as we come through to Felty Rabbit, as we come through in the last car to come over the line now, as Arthur Set has won the pre-season Tier 4 race.
PG. Felty gets driver of the day. Oh, I mean, I agree with that. I don't know about you.
I agree with that.
I mean, Arthur Set should get driver of the day for finishing in P1. And look at that
Felsi gaining 7 positions during that race. He did start 12th and is now up into 5th place. Arthur running the whole race, first to first, start to finish. Mr. J Swoll getting in front and taking 2nd place as he pulls that Haas over the line. And that, my friends, is the preseason Tier 4 race. If I could see J Swoll, Nonstop, and Arthur, who I haven't seen in a while in the podium views, I will see you in the podium interviews. And as you can see there, guys, there is your list of drivers for Tier 4 this season. This is the preseason race. Arthur Set taking the first race of the season by storm. War unfortunately taken out in the first few laps of this race. Boom Boom Bill, who was not here for the race, the top 14 on your screen right now, and the time for the rest of their race. Let me just get back into this screen right now as we come back in.
If anything. That was some good racing there, I ain't gonna lie.
Yes, it was. Anything you have to say for the rest of this?
Good racing there, I ain't gonna lie. No, I mean, great racing from the lads. Arthur Set getting P1, some good battles mid pack as well as at the front, battling for P2, P3. So, I reckon if this is showing us anything, I reckon Tier 4 will be very exciting to watch this season. I reckon.
It will be a very interesting season.
Oh, definitely. Arthur Set world champion for Tier 4? Question mark.
I mean, we can put our
What do you
bets on
reckon?
now, but it'll be very interesting. It was very interesting last year. We had a three-way battle in the last race of the season, so it's anybody's season. With Mr. Almighty Gob, who's now been advanced into Tier 3 after winning the sprint and the final race at the end of last year, Season 4.
No, Arthur goes straight to Tier 1, I reckon. Right.
Arthur
Confirmed.
straight to Tier 1.
Yep, I've just a message from Matt Skills. Yep, Arthur goes to Tier 1.
Okay. Alright, we will start with Non-Stop. How are you, my friend?
Oh, I'm great, mate.
How do you feel after that very interesting race?
Oh, yeah, pretty good.
There was
Nothing
a
really.
couple of interesting
And
battles.
a few words.
You and Mr. J Swole here were... Oh, I don't even know. Yeah, were fighting for that entire race. Was there ever a point where you thought we should be fighting Arthur instead of each other?
No, well, when Alpha got pole in like the first lap, I was like, all right, we're fighting for second. So that was the plan going into the race. Just let Alpha do his own thing and defend for second.
Cool. And did you ever think that Mr. J Swole would give you that type of challenge that he did for the entirety of that race? There was not a point in the race where I do not think you was more than 1.5 seconds apart.
Yeah, he was my teammate last season, so I knew that out of everyone I could race, he would be the cleanest. And as you saw, that's what happened.
And how do you feel the TPs watching tonight thought that race went?
I think that was pretty good from me and Jace Fall's end, at least, because unless you're Max Verstappen at the front, you did no racing Alpha. Me and Jace Fall were racing, so it shows our racing role, and I think that was pretty good.
Cool. And you're happy with taking third position under your ex-teammate?
Yeah. I mean, it was close. If it wasn't close, I would have been pissed, but it was close. So P3.
And were you happy with the penalty that Mr. J Swole got on the, was it second last lap? I believe it was.
Last lap.
Yeah,
last lap.
second
Oh, yeah.
It was last lap.
Last lap, yeah.
I was trying to get him a penalty ever since I got the 3 seconds. So yes, I was pretty happy with that.
Mission accomplished, eh?
Well, while the TPs are listening, is there anywhere that you want to be this season?
Well, damn, wow. Straightforward with the question, eh?
Oh, I'm straightforward. You know this.
Straightforward with the question. Well, the Red Bull did feel pretty nice tonight. That's all I'm gonna say.
Cool.
Ooh.
Well, you enjoy the rest of your night, and welcome to season 8, I guess. Are you excited for the rest of the season?
Yeah, I'm pretty pumped.
Cool. And if Mr. J Swole and you aren't on a team this season, is it going to turn into a rivalry, or are you just going to stay friends?
No, I'll just take him out on like the first race, and then that's it. No more beef.
I'm just gonna pull a combo.
Clipped and now clipped and reported.
Of course.
I'll be combo.
Yep.
All good. Well, you enjoy the rest of your night, and I'll talk to you, obviously, next time you hit a podium.
Yep. Alright, thanks, mate.
Have a good night. Mr. J. Swall,
Whoa.
how
Oh,
did you
sorry.
feel going into that race?
What do I say this? I guess pretty confident, seeing the calendars between like tier 4, how it was towards the end of the season, and the competitors that I had last season that were still in for this season. So I was confident going into this race. Not so much as well because it was my first race properly since I fucked my knee up. And I don't know, still a non-stop, yeah. And what the I can't speak, bro. Non-stop and Arthur.
Arthur.
Yeah. I knew those two would be a challenge, even though Arthur is pretty diabolical at times, but he is good driver.
Thank you.
Cool. And you and Non-Stop, did you ever think there was a chance in that race where there might have been an accident, or that the penalty was going to haunt you for the rest of the race?
Not really. I knew both of us were like probably one of the cleanest, well, probably the cleanest on the track. So I didn't think anything was gonna happen, but towards the end, once he got that penalty, and then like it was like what 2 laps left. I know he was trying to force me to get that. So it was just side by side the whole time. Like the second last lap, I thought, oh shit, something's gonna happen. But thank God we're both clean and ended well.
Now, did you think at any point that when Arthur was getting his colouring penalties that you might have had a chance to get up into first?
Oh, 100%. But the battle between Non-Stop and I just kept going, and Arthur just ended up gapping. But no, he had a good race. But definitely thought I would have a chance.
Now, I'm going to
Arthur is
ask
good at
you,
bottling.
the same question I asked Non-Stop. Where do you want to be this season?
Oh, well, I would say Ferrari. I'm with them for Rapid. The GOAT TP, Magic, who's not doing it this season. He's good friends with Big Lefty, who's the Ferrari guy, so that'd be great to work with him.
Cool. Well, that'll put some information in their heads for you. Rightio. Well, I will see you back when the season starts. Great race today between you and Non-Stop. And we'll
Awesome.
talk to you later. Have a good night.
Awesome, cheers, mate.
Arthur. Haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, actually, ever.
How did you feel going into that race? Qualifying first, finishing first.
Pretty confident. I didn't get to set a very good lap for quali because I disconnected. Then didn't have enough time to set another lap. But yeah, and in the race it was just smooth sailing.
Perfect. Did you ever
Not that
think?
you needed to do another quali.
Yeah.
Did you think at all during that race that the boys might have caught up to you at all?
Yeah, definitely. Especially towards the end when I got my other 3 second and Jay Swell didn't have his yet. I was definitely concerned that Jay Swell could get the win.
Perfect. And you ran a very clean race. Did you ever think when you got back out of the pits and you had Duck and I believe Piastri in front of you that they were going to cause you some grief coming into the boys catching up to you?
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I don't know. It's just got past them pretty easily and just yeah.
Cool. Now, this is your first win in a long time, isn't it?
Ever, I think.
First win, and it was in pre-season. Do you have any?
Yeah.
Do you have anywhere that you want to be now that information's been put out there?
Yeah, I'd like to be in the Haas.
You would like to be in the Haas. You did very well in it today. Does it felt clean and the type of car you want to be driving throughout the season?
Yeah, definitely.
Perfect. Well, now that they know that you're available as well, you might have more of a chance.
Yeah.
All good. Well, you ran a very good race. It was very clean, and
Thank you.
you ran it well. And I'm still gonna say that you're the king of colouring outside the lines because you did get
Definitely.
8 penalties or eight warnings today. So we'll keep that nickname
Yeah.
for you. But hopefully I can change that throughout the
come on.
next few races.
How many penalties
You doing
last
them-
Qatar race?
What was that? Sorry.
Yeah.
How many
I
penalties
hopefully.
last Qatar race? What, 18 seconds?
Yeah, that's
Oh,
okay.
nah.
He's new.
Last guitar race is 23, mate.
Jeez.
Mate, he's improved. You can't be giving him that nickname. He's improved.
I thought we'd change your name to Two Track Wonder.
Oh, yeah, two-track
Oh,
wonder. I'm not very good at Bahrain anymore, though.
It's called One Track Wonder in my service.
Yeah.
all good. Well, you blokes enjoy the rest of your night. I've got to get ready for tier 3, so
Alright.
Yeah, so do I.
I will
Good
talk
luck,
to you all
boys.
later. This is tier 4 preseason. I will talk to you all at the start of the season. Peace out, guys.
See you, mate.